Welcome to the podcast. I'm Scott McLean, coming to you from the One Man, One Mic Foundation studio located in Boca Raton, Florida. The One Man, One Mic Foundation, well, we help veterans. We teach them how to podcast. We also teach them the healing power of storytelling, because either way, the veteran has a voice, and we want to amplify that voice. One veteran, one mic at a time. So with all that said, my guest today is Art Brownstein. Art is the CEO and founder of the No White Flags Project, located here in Boca Raton.
Right. We are in Boca, but we cover the whole United States.
So that's good to know. That's good to know. So where are you from originally, Art?
Originally New York, Upper Manhattan, Inwood.
Okay.
It's known for having more bars than any other location in New York. Excuse me, I should have drank something here. Clear my throat a little bit. Went to the largest high school in the country at the time,
Okay.
George Washington High School. Don't know if it's still the largest. And then got married and moved to Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. All right.
Lived there for 21 years.
You a veteran?
I am a veteran. Went in 1964, served in Vietnam, did a tour in Vietnam. And then I probably shouldn't say this because I'm sure I'll get into trouble, protested the war after I came home. So, it was quite the experience.
All right. So what did you do after? How was your transition? How did that go?
I worked for a container company, actually, W. Braun. I still remember it. And they made bottles for Revlon. They made their containers. Lasted about 2 years until I met my wife on a blind date. She went to the University of Houston. She was there when Elvin Hayes was the big star down there.
Yeah.
And we got married December 1969. I moved down there, spent 21 years there, got divorced like, 80% of the people. And came here after my father passed away in 1991. Wanted to make sure my mother was okay. So came here to make sure and have been here for 34 years.
What's your veteran experience after Vietnam?
It was interesting. I went to a few groups to make sure I was okay. I seemed to be okay. But dealing with the hospitals, going to the hospitals and seeing the other vets and seeing what they go through and what, and I guess the biggest thing is when I ran into, I dated a nurse who had a spina bifida child. And I got to see the problems that people are having.
What year was this?
It would have been 92. And again, spent 6 years with her, taking care of the child, and then remarried after that. And I became a manager. I used to manage rock bands down in Houston. So, and I probably managed one of the better bands there because they were regional. They were as big as you could get. But when I came up here, I found an artist who had, again, we talk about, he had what was called spinal muscular atrophy. The only part of his body he could move was the tip of the left finger, but he was an artist because he could do work on the computer. And I am telling you, if you look at his artwork, there is no way in the world you would think he's handicapped at all. His artwork is incredible. I was also working with a congressman at the time on an organ donor project, and I knew he knew Barack Obama. So I asked him to ask Barack Obama. I told him the story of the artist, and I said, ask the president if AJ could do a portrait of him. And I wanted to make sure AJ wasn't going to do a portrait and then it was going to go into a closet somewhere. And I got a call the very next day, and he said not only does he want a portrait of him, he wants a portrait of the whole family. And as I understand it, AJ did the portrait. It took about 6 months. And the last, for those of you in Boca, the last debate that Obama had with Mitt Romney in 2012 was at Lynn University in Boca. And the very next day, Obama did a rally at the Delray Beach Tennis Center, and we gave him the portrait. And as I understand it, it hung in the White House for 4 years. And I believe it hangs in his home right now in D.C. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. What's the artist's name in case people want to look him up?
A.J. Brockman. It's called Single Handed Studios. He does not paint anymore, I don't believe. I believe he owns a nightclub up in Lake Park, a really hot place, I assume. And he's absolutely terrific. And again, I got to see his mother take care of him and see the problems you have with handicapped individuals. And I guess, I know you didn't ask, but the microphone is all yours, my friend. It goes into why I did the foundation that I'm doing now, or the organization that I'm doing now. I tell the story. I'll try to keep it short. I was in a public bathroom blow drying my hands on the blow dryer there. And I thought to myself, why is there not one that can do the whole body for people who can't dry themselves? And I even met with an engineer down in Davie, and we talked about designing. And then I started doing more research and found out, it already exists. I got a hold of the two guys who ran it, both veterans, and we put it together. They wanted me to work for them on their profit end of it with hotels and stuff like that, and I wanted to do it as a nonprofit. And they have been absolutely terrific. Steven Schnelke, Richard Bresnahan, Tornado Body Dryer is the name of it, and that's what we supply to. Again, and I always like to point out, especially on this podcast, because I know it's for veterans, when I first started this, it was strictly for veterans and first responders, and that's how I thought about it. But then I ran into people who I see are not veterans who could really use this equipment. The interesting thing is when we started out with just the body dryer, and then we saw there's a whole lot of other things that they could use. So a whole lot of companies have come in to help us. Toto bidets, Delta faucets. We are talking right now to management teams from Kohler and Moen. They design a voice-activated shower where you could tell the shower on and off and what temperature.
So now let's get a little more specific about this. This is for amputees, correct? It's for amputees, but we do help people with ALS. We help people with Parkinson's. When we say amputees, one of the reasons for that, we're going, and I'm going next month to, it's called Enhanced Skills for Life. It is a organization actually out of Houston, and I'm going back to a conference, and they handle strictly amputees. When I was there 3 years ago, there were 74 amputees. I believe when I go back next month, there's 110. They try to teach them how to live as best they can without the arms. I know
I make fun. One of my favorite sayings is everybody poops, but not everybody can wipe. And you have to understand that they go through problems that I don't think we put in our head and we figure out what you can do. As I say, I hop in the shower, I dry off. What would I do if I couldn't do that?
Yeah.
And how would I do it?
And when did you start this?
I actually started it in 2019, but to be perfectly honest, we closed down for 2 years during COVID. So we've been back up for about 1.5 years now. We've helped about 35 to 38 individuals, either with body dryers or Delta faucets or bidets or with both. We also are right now getting into the body dryer needs to go to work properly, needs to go in a shower stall, not in a bathtub. It's extremely hard to put in a bathtub. So we're getting into converting tubs to showers so they can put in the body dryer. And what you have to understand with the body dryer, you also need electric work because it needs a 220-volt dedicated line. So we have people around the country that we've used that helped us. Most of them give us the donation of their time and work. Sometimes they can't, but it's a lot of work to put a 220 line, in the shower. So Mr. Electric, I'd like to give a shout out to them because they were really good to us. Steve Barber out of, down in Atlanta area. They help us. We try to get most of the equipment as donations, but we don't always get everything as a donation. So we pay for some of it. But I will tell you, the companies give us a really good break on the price. And I always bring up Toto because their bidet is, I believe, a $2,000 bidet, and I think we get it for $500. So 75% discount is not bad.
Not at all. And bidets are very important for amputees,
absolutely.
especially the arms.
Absolutely. And it's, as I say, and I think I told you before, the one person that changed everything about what I wanted to do that was strictly for veterans, and then it became other people, was a girl. Boy, I'll get in trouble for saying that. Jessica Cox. Again, for anybody who cares, look her up. She is one of the most incredible women I've ever seen, born with no arms. And I believe at the age of 12 decided get rid of her prosthetics. She's, I believe in her right at 40 or right around that age right now, in the Guinness Book of World Records, met with the Pope, travels the world giving lectures to handicapped individuals. They have a documentary on her, I believe it's Netflix, called Right Footed. And the beauty about Jessica, she is a licensed pilot. No arms, but a licensed pilot. And I tell everybody this when I tell them, if she asked me to get in a plane and fly with her, I would not hesitate for 1 second. She is that incredible. And I think I mentioned back 3 years ago, she was at the conference with me, and the Smithsonian up in Washington, the aviation Smithsonian, was redoing their place, and they were reopening, and they sent a plane from Washington to Houston just to pick her up and bring her to the event, just so she could be there. And then they flew her back the next day.
Didn't you say you had a meal with her or something?
We met her, me and my almost a wife, Sandy. Hello, Sandy. We met her up in Tallahassee. She was doing, again, a lecture up there. I had met her before, but we had never eaten together. We sat down for breakfast, and my inclination was, do you need help with napkin, I sat and watched her unfold her napkin, cut her food, pick up her glassed, all with her feet. And it's like, it's just second nature to her. And you sit there and you're amazed that people like this can do what they do. I mean, I sit there, I always think I can get through everything. I'm not sure when I look at some of these people if I would have the strength that they do. And again, you have people that were born without arms, and then you have amputees that are recent. And we have both. We help both, and it's just fascinating what they can do.
How did you? So you started this in 2019.
Yeah.
There was a large gap of time.
Yep.
In there where you were just living your life, doing your thing.
Yep.
Getting married, getting divorced.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, these things, this life.
Oh yeah.
Where was, or what was the inspiration for this particular? It's kind of a very like outside the box.
Yeah.
'Cause people don't think about it.
I know. And I don't know, again, it may have been the fact of AJ and, and then going up to the VA in West Palm Beach and seeing some of the guys in wheelchairs there, seeing some of the people that don't have limbs. And I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. I just, as I said, when I was blowing my hands under a blow dryer, and just said, why isn't there something that dries the whole body for people who have no arms or can't take a towel and use it? I can't tell you why. I don't know that I just saw someone that was an amputee and it hit me in the head, do something. I guess I was, I probably shouldn't say this. I teach politics or I do current events at places. I've been doing it for 20 years or so. But I just felt like doing something. Other than that, I've always tried to figure out if I could help people, do stuff. I don't know where that came from, but it's what I wanted to do. Excuse me. And then it just took off. It stuck in my head, and I always tell people I talk politics to. I do have a demented mind, so okay. Just let me go. And then, of course, the problem is with a nonprofit is the money aspect, and I've luckily been working, so I've been able to fund it.
Well, as I always say, not to interrupt you, but you're not a true nonprofit until you've come out of pocket. Now,
yes.
I know there's a lot of nonprofits out there saying that's not the case.
Yes.
It's the case for a lot of us.
Yes, it is. It is. And we've had some very good response. We do partner with Shriners. We help one of my favorite kids is a kid named Cooper, who's in their commercials. And we would like to do a lot more than them. We'd like to do as much as we can with the veterans and the Veteran Administration. And I think we're starting to do that now, but I wanted to do it. Scott, I've told you before, and you know how it is, the red tape. I went up to the VA in 2019 or 2020 when I first started this and offered to give them a body dryer so they could put in their prosthetics, their amputee. I'm sure they have a place up there. And they couldn't take it because of the red tape and because of who's got to do what. And it's like, it was a little annoying saying, wait a minute, I'm giving you a $2,000 piece of equipment that I think you could use. And I couldn't get them to take it.
You would think it would be a lot easier, but
the
red tape in the VA can be very thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is some, don't get me wrong, but this will get me in trouble too. There's some veterans groups that are hard to work with because they, I guess they want the donation. And me, I'm not giving them money. I'm giving them a piece of equipment. And some of them are hard to work with.
That's amazing,
yeah,
right?
and I wish it wasn't like that, but it is. And I'm not naming any names, but it's.
I had somebody reach out to me, a friend of mine up in Boston,
Yeah.
about a year ago. And he said, hey, listen, he said, like a container full of wheelchairs and walkers.
Right.
And, and he's like, we don't know what to do with them. Like, so, could we donate these? And then at first I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. But then it dawned on me, where do you store all this stuff?
Yeah.
Like that ends up costing a nonprofit money to store it, because most nonprofits don't have warehouses.
No.
And the intention is good, but the commodity just doesn't, it's just not practical.
Yeah.
To take 100 wheelchairs, unless you have 100 veterans lined up.
Right.
That need wheelchairs, and then you're in competition with the VA, because the VA gives wheelchairs also. And so there's things out there that people think are needed, but then when it comes down to it, it's like, where do I put this?
Yeah.
No,
and I'm not in competition.
No.
And that's what I'm trying to get across to them. I'm not in competition. You do what you do, but there are people. The thing we had with Shriners is we had to explain to them what they do at the hospitals and they do in their facilities. What we're talking about is helping the people in their homes, when they're away from Shriners. How do they get by when they're in their homes? And that's what we're doing. I was telling someone the other day, and I think I told you this before, I give that $19 a month, to Shriners, to St. Jude's, to ASPCA. Yes, I'll give it to you too. Am I supposed to? Oh,
Okay.
I was told not to bang, and I was apparently banging.
There you go.
I'm sorry, everybody.
That's okay.
And I said to someone the other day, I said, I'd love to have a few hundred people who give $19 a month. That would be terrific. What I really want is someone to introduce me to a multi-billionaire or millionaire, sit down with them, and just say, you know what, here's the money for a year or two. Go ahead and help the people. Again, when I was at the Enhanced Skills for Life 3 years ago, it's funny because I did a presentation on stage with Jessica, by the way, as she showed people how she dried off with a towel with no arms. And I have the video somewhere from that, but it's fascinating. And I said to the 74 people here, I said, my goal is to help every one of you get a body dryer, because none of these people had arms, to get a body dryer. Well, little did I know they actually paid attention and said, okay, give me a body dryer. And it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's one of the problems you have if you hit something quickly enough and then you get a whole lot of clients and then you say, wait a minute, we don't have the funds to do that yet. It's something we have to think about. And that's what I said. I would love to meet a multimillionaire or billionaire who sees what we're doing. And the other thing, and I do say this, no one who works with us takes a salary. Now, I would like to change that. And I would like the people who work with us to get paid. But I've been funding it mostly myself. My almost a wife threw in a few bucks, but I'm tired of doing that. I would like
yeah.
Yeah. I would like someone else to come along and, help out. But we're going to help as many people as we can.
So that's a thing with nonprofits. Is you get that rush of people. And I think the last thing a nonprofit really wants to do is have a waiting list.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting lists, okay, they're there for a reason.
Yep.
It's a good thing maybe to have a waiting list, but you have those people that don't want to be on the waiting list and they lose interest and they move on.
Right.
And now that you feel like you let them down, right? There's a whole thing
It is one of... when we first started the tub to shower conversions. We thought we had everybody lined up, and it turned out we didn't. And we did have a waiting list of tub to shower. It's the same as we will probably have a waiting list now for the shower, voice activated showers. But you have to start somewhere, and it's not like I have this list of amputees in the entire country. That's why I go to conferences like Enhanced Skills for Life, where I can meet the people there. So we're trying to help as many people as possible, as quick as possible. A whole lot of problems is, do you own your home or do you rent? Because some of ours is renovation. If you don't own the home,
I didn't even think of that. You're right.
If you don't own the home, you just can't come in and do a tub to shower, conversion. So you have to see. We're doing actually right now. We're putting in a body dryer. We're redoing someone's. Who lives in a double-wide trailer. And I didn't even know, I will tell you that, I didn't even know whether you could put a 220-volt line in a trailer. And it can be done. So that's what we're doing.
Okay.
But, we run into these all the time. So then when you try to work with people like Shriners, and I understand their privacy policy is like, I have to rely on them to get to the people because they won't give me their information. And I understand that. That's how they do it. We don't give out information, too, about our clients or stuff like that. But this is what,
It's all the little nuances of a nonprofit. We all run into them.
It is.
In different levels and different aspects of whatever your specialty is in your nonprofit.
Absolutely.
There's always going to be those kind of roadblocks. And you would think that, hey, let's just make this easy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to steal from you. But there's a lot of people out there that's their game. We have to look out for that stuff.
I was hacked 3 different times in the bank account for the nonprofit.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell it happened, but it happened. Now the bank was very nice, and we got everything back. But people did this. Things happen. I will tell you that 3 years ago, the story that I always remember. I was getting off the elevator at this conference, Enhanced Skills, and I'm getting off the elevator, and one of their members who has no arms or legs, she was 5 or 6 years old maybe, was rolling down the hall. And I was so shocked. And I'm looking at this little girl rolling down the hall, and I was, who do I call? And then I heard her mother say, "Come on, honey, this is how she
gets around.
And it's like, wait a minute. I was absolutely shocked at that. And then the next time I saw her, she had a paintbrush under her chin, laying on a table about like this, painting, trying to paint. When I talk about Jessica, pilot. She's also a black belt in Taekwondo, and I think she's a surfer. Now, please tell me how you surf with no arms.
You'd have to ask Jessica.
Yes.
You'd have to ask Jessica.
And by the way, she'll do a podcast for you if you want.
That would be great.
She's terrific.
Jessica
is great. Yeah, she lives in Tucson, and I'll be seeing her in a month at the conference.
And where's the next conference?
It's in Houston. It's right outside of Houston. It's in a little town called Sugar Land, which is like 20 minutes outside of Houston. Which is really a problem because my son lives in Houston, and I could have stayed with him. But, my 2 kids and 7 grandchildren are still in Texas. So Texas was an interesting place for me for 21 years.
Well, I want to say that this, you and I met at the VA.
We did.
At a recent outreach I was doing.
We did.
And we got to talking, and I believe I relayed to you that this is kind of what you do is kind of, it's not kind of.
Yeah.
it is near and dear to my heart because my oldest brother, whom I just lost,
Yep.
he was an amputee. He was 18. He had bone cancer on his knee.
Yeah.
Athlete, basketball, baseball, football, hockey. And at 19, I believe, he had surgery to replace the kneecap. It was back in the 70s. It was a whole new thing, and they graft a bone. But being 19 years old, you can't keep a 19-year-old down. Long story short, after 7 more surgeries and a lot of rods and metal, it just wasn't happening for him. So he actually made the decision himself. They said, we can operate again, or we can take it off. And he said, take it off. And I never really looked at it any other way than this guy was my hero.
Yeah.
He was my hero growing up. Tough as nails, never complained. And when he told me that they were taking the leg off, I was devastated because I'm like, you? Wait a minute. This was never supposed to happen. So this is a family member perspective, and especially a little brother perspective.
Yeah.
And he told me that he was in pain every single day.
Yeah.
He went to bed in pain. He woke up in pain.
Yep.
Addictions followed, etc.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing I'm getting to is I never really thought of the little complications that he lived with on a daily basis. Like as simple as in the middle of the night, you got to get up and go to the bathroom. Well, it's not that easy with one leg. And this was amputation above the knee. And I never realized what a huge difference that makes.
Yeah.
So all these little things, you have a prosthetic, and you put your stump, as he called it. I put my stump in there, and you wrap it. And if you put on weight, it's not going to fit right. And that affects your gait, and that affects how you walk. If you lose too much weight, it's not going to fit right. And you have to get a new leg. And then the leg takes a beat. And then you got to get another leg. And it's not like people were just donating legs back then.
Oh, yeah. We do a lot of work with Hanger Clinic, and they're the biggest prosthetics people in the country. And you'd be surprised how many people we run into that have major problems with their prosthetics that cause other problems. And we do one of the biggest causes right now in amputations seems to be sepsis. Yeah. We work with the Sepsis Alliance, and their complaint was doctors never saw sepsis until it was too late. They're now checking for it a little quicker. But again, at this conference, we run into many people who lost their limbs because of sepsis. So there's a whole lot of reasons why it's happening. And I don't know how many people. I always ask people, do we know how many people in the country are amputees? Now, it's different for us with a leg amputee as opposed to an arm amputee.
Yes.
Because of what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we try to help everybody if, whatever they need, if we could do it, we try to do it. And we're going to keep doing it. And hopefully I find that multimillionaire and,
if I don't find him first.
Yes.
I'm only kidding, my friend.
Oh, no.
I don't blessings
disagree.
to you. I hope you find that.
By the way, if I find them, I'll invite you to lunch.
And I'll buy next time.
There you go. There you go. No, it's... And I will tell you, and I think you will understand this, the joy that I get, or the joy that all the people who are working with me get when we do something like this, and you see the letters and the text and everything from these people.
And the family members. I can't stress that enough. Family members. The caregivers.
Oh, absolutely.
The ones that feel absolutely useless sometimes.
Absolutely.
Or they can only do so much. And the frustration that the amputee lives with.
Yes.
And even, doesn't matter. It didn't matter how many years. My brother has lost his leg, 30 years. Yeah. There's a lot of things that don't change. They don't go away because it just is what it is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it's just something, again, when I sat down with Jessica to breakfast, it's like I never thought about cutting food or doing this or doing that. And then when you, again, everybody poops, but you can't wipe.
Yeah.
Everybody showers, but not everybody can dry themselves, you know.
The little things that we take for granted. That I know that's very cliche, but it's so true in this case.
Absolutely. One of the biggest items we had when we first got it was a Delta faucet that was voice activated. And you just tell it what you want and it does it. You don't have to press anything. You don't have to hit anything. So the people with no arms are like, this is terrific. You know, the thing with the shower, the voice-activated shower, and we're trying to figure out the best way to do it. I believe you have to have Siri or Alexa, you know, do it for you. You're not talking to the shower. You're talking through Alexa and Siri, you know. And my favorite joke is why I'm bad with women is because I said, Alexa, how come I'm so bad with women? And she said, I'm Siri, you idiot. So, you know, anyway, I thought I had to get a joke in there. So.
You got it in there, my friend.
And we try to
very clever.
I said before, we try to do everything with a sense of humor. And to me, it's the most important thing in life. I tell you, you talked about your brother with cancer. A week after my 65th birthday, I was told I have leukemia. And I've had it I'll be 80 years old next year.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Looking like you're only 65.
Oh, good. Please keep that in the video. Do not get rid of that one. But it was like, if they didn't tell me, I wouldn't know, because I've never had anything that says I have it. They caught it early enough. I take a chemo pill every day, and it seems to work. And the doctor even said, you have the garden variety of leukemia. Well, thank you for that. But it's still cancer, and, you know, but I do have a relative or a friend that's going through chemo right now, and I know the side effects of that. So I feel extremely lucky that it was the garden variety.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And again, I credit the VA for that, because the only reason I knew that is because they do blood tests twice a year. And if they didn't do that, I don't know when I would have gone to get a blood test, and I don't know how much the leukemia would have affected me.
Yeah.
Now, I do argue with the VA, too, because I was exposed to Agent Orange in Vietnam, but I have the wrong type of leukemia. So the VA doesn't want to talk about a disability, you know, and I know I'm not pushing it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to get in touch with your project, foundation, organization,
right.
What's the website?
NoWhiteFlags.org. Go there. You can get in touch with us through the website. It is, I don't know how to put it. We keep redoing our website. We keep having things pop up that we want on our website. As I said, when I first started, it was strictly the body dryer. Well, now it's faucets. Now it's redos, shower, voice-activated shower. So we're adding, you know, as we go along. So we're trying to update the website as much as possible. It is the best way to you can contact me, Art at NoWhiteFlags.org. I don't know if you want me to give my cell number.
That's strictly up to you, my friend.
Okay, yes. 561-460-3785. And you can contact me. We do have a number for the organization, but it's a 800 number that's kind of like a virtual number. And, you know, we get the message, but it's easier this way. And you can text me or, you know, leave a voice message and I will get back to you. And we try to help people as quickly as we can. It's not always easy to do it quick.
Yeah.
But we do try to help as quickly as we can.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, how did you come up with the name No White Flags?
I wanted to do a production company with that handicap artist I told you. And it was called the No White Flags Production Company. And we couldn't do it for various reasons, a whole lot of reasons. And the name always stuck in my mind. Never surrender. And that's basically where it comes from. When I see these people, and it's like they're not surrendering. They are trying to. I think I told you before, and I would love people to know about this. And I might send you the draft video for you to put on this if you can. We are trying to do a video. We wanted to do a flash mob of amputees dancing to What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger by Kelly Clarkson. We have some videos. They're drafts. They're rough drafts. When I go to the conference, I'm going to try to get a whole lot more people dancing. And then we're going to have someone put something together, and we do possibly have an in to Kelly Clarkson. So we're hoping once she sees what we're trying to do. And again, these are amputees dancing, telling you what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. In other words, never surrender. In other words, no white flags.
There you go. That's a beautiful thing, my friend.
There it is.
Did we miss anything?
I don't. God knows I could talk forever, but I don't think so. I think this is fine. How long do usually you keep the podcast to?
We could
time wise.
It's usually about an hour or 45 minutes to an hour. We're at about 45 minutes right now.
I could never talk that long. It's crazy. No, it's just, again, it's the most pleasing thing I think I've ever done. And it's when you talk to these people. They go through, and I got to tell you, some of them are absolutely amazing. They, you never hear a complaint. You don't hear one word out of them, and you look at them, and quad amputees. One of the guys who just joined the organization, he last February lost both arms and legs, I believe from sepsis. But we had breakfast about a year ago up in Tampa. And it's just fascinating. And again, one of the reasons he can do it is his wife is right there with him. And he's a terrific guy. He went skydiving, and he wants to do it again. But again, something happened and he had to have more surgeries. The thing with some of these folks is that they do come back and they have other problems that they have to deal with. It's not always just amputees and it's done. As I said, one of my favorite, Cooper Hostetler, he's a Shriners kid. He has, and I wish I remembered the name of it. I don't know if he's on the shirt. I'm sure he's on the poster. He has arms, but they're up here. He has hands.
The blue shirt on. He's got the blue shirt. Young kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Cooper. So he has hands, but he doesn't have arms. And the two kids, the two children, Leanne and Landon, it's the same. And the interesting thing with that is, if I understand it right, their mother was told you shouldn't have enough. One was going to be it. And when she had the second one, the same thing happened. Same as Linda Bannon. I don't believe she's on. She's probably on here again. She was born with no arms. Was told by the doctor, your chance of having a child with no arms, not going to happen. And of course, she had a son, and he was born with no arms. So, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, my friend, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely,
appreciate
Scott.
what you do from the heart. Again, family members of amputees, that's a whole nother thing that they, there's a whole different emotion, and there's a lot of ups and downs that go with it and the caregivers, I should just say in general, caregivers. when you see them going through what they go through, or the little struggles that you can't really
Right.
step in and do much, because a lot of them don't want you to do
No,
it either.
they don't. They don't.
You know, don't.
Yeah.
My brother was big on don't pity me.
Yeah.
Don't pity me.
Yeah.
You know. You know what? I wanted to touch on this. Back in our day, I'm going to be 62 in December, so
A child.
yeah, I know, right? It was very. There was a heavy stigma on amputees.
Yes.
Like they literally, it was, you stared at them because you didn't see a lot of it.
Absolutely.
And then after the war, and these were a lot of veterans
Yes.
too that came back from
Yes.
World War I, World War II,
Yep.
Vietnam, Korea, etc. It seems today, in this world we live in, as crazy and as beautiful as it can be, there's a more acceptance to it, and I see a lot more amputees being bold about it and owning it.
Oh, yes.
Because back then they didn't own it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, and I watched my brother go through this as a kid.
Yes.
Having to deal with this. Now it's just like, yeah, here I am, and I think that's an amazing turning.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
turnaround.
you come. I think that happens every 10 or 20 years in our country, where things change. You know, the gay community 20 years ago was still hiding in the closet. You know, they don't do that anymore because, or they shouldn't do it anymore.
Right.
So this happens with everything. I don't. You may not remember, but I certainly do, about how the Vietnam vets were treated.
Yeah.
You know, we were baby killers. We were, you know, and then people started understanding, wait a minute, we did what we were asked to do for the country. So,
and thank you for
you know,
that. Thank you. Your service laid the
appreciate
groundwork
that.
for my service.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But again, it's we evolve, you know, and we keep evolving, and hopefully we keep evolving, because I'm sure we're going to run into other problems too.
Yeah.
So
hopefully not, but it's
well,
we'll end it on a positive
yes,
note.
there
Hopefully
you go.
not.
There you go. NoWhiteFlags.org.
There you go.
Come and visit us, and we'll try to take care of you.
Yes, and the email again?
Art@NoWhiteFlags.org or info@NoWhiteFlags.org. Either one will work.
There you go. Well, again, my friend, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate immensely what you do, and I feel your pain with the grind of a
Yes.
of a small 1-2 person nonprofit. But you know what?
Yep.
I look at it this way, and I always said this from the time I was in my 20s and I was watching my brother.
Yeah.
Anything that came across me that was a barrier,
Yeah.
or just the shit hit the fan
Yep.
and things aren't going good.
Yep.
And I always looked at it this way. If my brother could go through what he went through,
Absolutely.
I can certainly get through this.
Absolutely.
And that mindset got me through a lot.
Yes.
Alcoholism, it
Yeah.
got me through a lot. Deaths,
Absolutely.
a lot. And it's that perseverance
Yeah.
that amputees,
Oh,
and I'm just being
absolutely.
specific because of this conversation.
Yeah.
But the perseverance that they have
Right.
is, I mean, people should be just absolutely inspired by it, to just look at yourself and go, wait a minute, maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. As I say, I look at these people and it's like, are you kidding me? Could I do that?
Yeah.
And my first reaction is, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a fairly strong person, but I look at that and go, I don't know. And especially the ones I kind of, the people who are born without arms, they have no recourse. All right? The ones that just had amputations, we just had an electrician, got zapped and lost both arms. And it's like, okay. And he doesn't know how to live without the arm. So we're bringing him down to the conference.
Beautiful.
You know, because they have taekwondo down there. They have artwork. They have a golf lesson. Again, for people with no arms, but they have a golf lesson. And I understand, by the way, I'm afraid to ask her. I understand Jessica is learning golf. I play golf. I'm a little bit afraid that, and I'm not a great golfer whatsoever, but I'm afraid she's going to be better than me
She
immediately.
will be.
Yes, I'm sure she will.
There's no doubt.
Yes. Scott, I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure meeting you at the VA. It was a pleasure having breakfast with you last week.
There you
and
go.
It's even more pleasure having you on the podcast.
Really appreciate it, Scott. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to do my outro and we'll talk when I go off the air. Well, we built another bridge today. This one was an amputee bridge. No white flag bridge. It was a no white flags bridge. That's right. And listen, I just want to say this. If you like what Art is doing, if you like what the No White Flags Project is doing, I say this is a video podcast now. It's audio also, but now it's video, and I'm going to tell the viewing audience, give them your money. If you like it, give them your money. I'm sure the website has a donate button. And if you like the work they're doing, every dollar counts. It really does. So
we could also use ambassadors around the country.
And this is for civilians. I mean, I say civilians a lot because for 32 years I was for non-veterans. This is also for non-veterans. So if you're listening or you're seeing this and you have a person in your life that is an amputee and might be able to use the services that the No White Flags Project offers, reach out to Art and I'm sure he'll do what he can to help you out. So
you got it.
With that said, I want to thank you for watching again. Thank you for listening. And if you like it, share it. If you didn't like it, well, thanks for watching and listening for 52 minutes. I appreciate that. And I'll see you next week.